call the meeting of the street committee to order. And Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Lamar.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Shears.
Here.
Are there any petitions from the audience? Okay. Item number 3, discuss and possibly approve the minutes of the November 26th meeting. And you have those in your packet here.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Smith and second by Shears to approve the minutes. Call for the vote.
Lamar.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Shears.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, street superintendent report, Buddy Nguyen.
It's not a big report. Like I said, with cold weather coming on, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of asphalt or concrete. We've still been doing a lot of tree trimming over the streets, in the alleys. We've done some grading over on the west side in the alleys. Of course, patching potholes, little things that comes up. We just got through, a couple weeks ago, I say we had 8 inches of snow, or that's what I had out there at the house, is what I measured. So, but we got that everything plowed and pretty well picked and cleaned up within a couple of days. We worked Friday and Saturday for us, trying to get everything plowed and pushed up, and then within a couple of days we had next week had everything hauled off. Big thing, had the sidewalks cleared off. I was don't know if y'all noticed or something down there, but we got us a couple of snow blowers down there. I asked the mayor if he'd help me try to find some, because it's just getting so old. Time of thinking down through the years, you know, not really thinking about the snow or nothing like that, but we found a couple of them over pretty decently priced, so I took them out of our older FEMA account. We had around 11,000 in there. I think it was 1,600 altogether for those 2 snow blowers that we had, and it worked tremendously. I mean, it made our life a lot easier. So I was tickled to death to get those. And the thing was, I didn't have anybody complain about running them. Everybody's wanting to run them. So I mean, that was it. Just so we didn't have to shovel it off. That made a big difference. So hopefully some of this rest of this weather go around us. But other than that, we're just, I mean, day-to-day stuff, pulling maintenance and stuff on the equipment down there. Nice days like this, again, like I said, we're out trimming trees, or we're still waiting on our sweeper. They think they may have located a brake booster for it, so they're going trying to find that to see if it's the one that'll work, and if it is, and then we'll get that one. We'll get it put on, then we can be able to start using it warm days like this, so we don't have to worry about that water pump on it freezing and breaking. So other than that, just some local calls and stuff. We've had some people building some new houses, doing some remodels. They're doing some curb cuts and stuff, and then there's another one down on South Taylor down there. I guess they're going to do some remodeling in that old house down there, and they called, and like I said, with the pipe in the driveway wasn't nothing wrong with it, but they're going to tear it all out and redo the whole thing through there. And I said, well, that'd be up to you. I mean, if you're going to tear all of it out. So, but other than that, not a whole lot of complaints or anything. So, staying busy.
What year is that street sweeper?
It's 22 years old. It'd be, what, 2022?
Okay. And did it replace, if you recall, did it replace that one that they bought brand new in about 1988 or so?
Yeah, we had that one crosswind, and that was the one they had, and it was like 24, 25 years old. And it got to the point where it was, you know, not working, so they bought this one here. And I mean, it's been a good one. It's just, I mean,
Well, it's wore out.
yeah, it's just getting to the point where they can't make parts for it anymore.
Well, you keep replacing parts on it and done as far as you can go with it.
Yeah, we got a lot of older stuff down there that, I mean, of course, that's my mentality of thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it or turn it in. Of course, I mean, that's me. If I drive things into the ground where it's not worth anything, but I get my money's worth out of it. But I mean, for something like this here with the streets, I mean, that may be something we need to look at, you know, every 12 years maybe, or something, to replace them. I mean, we've got, And I got to look at, well, I mean, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, I know, but, there's some other things down there that I didn't realize was getting that old.
All right, thank you. The next item is an update from the mayor, police chief, and street superintendent regarding plans to address the speeding issue on North Elliott and Clayton Road. And that's gonna tie in with the discussion on item number 6 about council action on safety improvements. So I do have in your packet, in the mayor notes, what the police chief and the mayor's, in his absence, in their absence, has determined that there are several options that they have. But first of all, since this is kind of tied in with item number 6, I'm gonna go ahead and entertain a motion that we, to start discussing the whole package on this thing. So I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, motion from Smith and second by Brashears. Call for vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna discuss it based on this. So there's been multiple things mentioned, about 6 of them per the mayor and the chief of police, and please chime in there here in a minute when we talk about it. But one thing that was, there's several options that were mentioned, and you all came up with some good ideas at the meeting here a while back, but a request was made for more police presence in the area. According to the police chief, this has been done and that no noted violations are observed during those times. Now, I do know for a fact that I have seen documentation from the police department of them putting on their radio log of extra patrols in that area. I can't say that they did or didn't make any traffic stops. I don't know about that, but you're not always gonna make a ticket on every single traffic stop. That's just not the way it's done anywhere. But the police say that they have been patrolling that more. Suggestion was made that they put a dummy car on the location to reduce the amount of traffic violations and speeders. And I have seen that vehicle out there. I don't know if it's still there or not. They say they move it around, but that is an option too, to deter things. If there's whether it be somebody sitting in the police car or somebody, a dummy in it, it's still a police car there, and that is a deterrence. Another thing was talked about was the traffic delineator post to be placed through the center line. The mayor came up with these figures, and I don't know if you came up with them, but the figures was that they're about $30 to $40 a piece. They're 36 inches tall, and they adhere with a butyl pad to the asphalt, and that they would beat about 20 of these at a cost of about $1,000 if that option was the one we went with. However, if you put those in the middle of the road, the downfall to that is larger traffic vehicles coming through there is going to knock them down and be interfering with them. I.e., it is kind of a semi-rural area, and there are stock trailers and farm implements that go through there. So that's a downfall of that, but that is an option that if those are put there in the road. Another thing, and this is the biggie, that would involve Buddy for sure, even though the other number 3 kind of does, is that they cut the road and refill it with concrete to allow for the rumble strips to be added. The cost estimate for that is about $1,200. It was estimated it'd be 200 square foot times 4 plus needing a machine to drill out the strips after the fact, and that the estimate is about $1.20 a square foot plus labor, additional time and materials. That was option number 4 talked about, or suggested or mentioned. Number 5 was signage. Someone identified, according to the mayor, that there was a shortage of posted speed limit signs approaching from the east, heading into the turn. That would be, it says here, his opinion is that rule speed is 35 miles an hour, and currently it reduces to 30. We will be adding one more bottleneck of speed before the turn to reduce traffic in both directions to 25 miles an hour in that turn, is the suggestion. And additionally, we will be adding additional arrows on the center of the turn, and it was noticed that one set of arrows is missing, and possibly also adding a dangerous curve signage. I know that I did drive down that road yesterday, and Kathy, we visited. I didn't realize, and I've driven that road many times, but it's been a long time, that I was coming from eastbound going westbound, and I didn't really realize that it was that, to me anyway, it was kind of a sharp turn to notice right there and see those arrow signs. So if people are speeding through there, I would think, if it was me driving through there and I was driving fast, I saw those arrow signs, it would cause me to shut down real quick because I thought I was going too fast. I don't see how they do it without hitting those signs, but it is.
They've been hit before.
It is a curve there. Well, and it's going to happen if they don't slow down for sure. So there are those signs there, but this is to mention reducing the speed limit down to 25 miles an hour in the turn. I did notice that Miss LaValle was out at her mailbox, going out to the mailbox, and there were cars behind me, and I can see to where if she's out at that mailbox with her back turned to it and cars are coming around the curve to go eastbound, that that could be kind of a scary situation for cars, especially going fast coming that way. So I see her point on some of that stuff like that going like to the mailbox. And it's probably the same way around the curve in the Kernutts area that Ms. Kernut mentioned here a while back. Another option is going to cost around $10,000 to $15,000, and that's to deter with the speed radar trailer that has flashing red, blue lights with a visual that goes off. And that, of course, could be not only used there, but in all other area parts of town to be moved around. I know that it's more. I think Councilman Smith will agree with this, that if you're driving and see one of those and you don't really know it's there, you're going to see those flashing blue lights, you're going to slow down. Everybody slows down when they hit the brakes when they see lights flash. So anyway, those are 6 options that came about as a result of a visit with the police chief and the mayor. So, Buddy, I want to ask you what your opinion of any of this is, and then ask the committee to give any input about these ideas.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have one out there, one of the curvature signs. There was, as you come, if you're come west headed east, there is a 30-mile-an-hour sign over here. And I know there was one over through here, but I went out there yesterday and looked, and somebody is taking it off the sign. Because you can go back on Google in 2023 or early 2024, and it's on there. So we had to put another 30-mile-an-hour sign over on here, and then back there by closer towards Parsons, we're putting up another 30-mile-an-hour sign through there. Again, you can put up $1 million worth of signs up, but that ain't gonna keep somebody's foot off the gas.
They don't pay attention to the signs.
No. But I mean, there is flashing lights there at the curve. You know, we put those 225s up there yesterday. It was yesterday. But then, like I said, the $1,200 that's per area. If we do that, it's about a 20 by 10 area, concrete area. That if we're going to do that, you'll have to pull those I call them rumble strips or whatever, all the way across. Because if you just put them on the one side, it head in direction of traffic, people are just going to pull over. They're just going to go around it. So if you're going to do it, you're going to have to go all the way across on each end. That's about concrete is about $1,200 to pour for each one of them. That's not. But again, trying to find somebody that has that machine. State's the only one that has it, and right now they don't even talk to us about it. We tried those delaminators before in school zones. All they do is get run over because with the signage on them, and especially once they found out that they were spring loaded, then that was just an object for the bigger trucks and stuff just to run over, and those are $350 a piece. So that's why, like in a lot of the school zones, we don't have them, because every time we put them up, 2 to 3 weeks down the road, everything would be tore up, because again, may not be there watching, maybe after school or, you know, sometime at night, but they're, like I said, the kids are taking advantage, or could be adults too, but they run over them and they tear them up. So that's $350 every time we do that. But like with the crosswalks, we do have the signage and everything up through that, but again, I just wanna know about where we're gonna probably put those, rumble strips is probably gonna be pretty close to Miss LaValle's house, somewhere in that area. So when that hits, but then again, you know, is that gonna make enough noise that when those goes across, I mean, you can hear them when you drive across them on the highway. So if there's people coming through there at nighttime, you know, driving up and down through there, and they're gonna be hearing that, you know, that's something that I guess gonna need to be addressed because of the noise, down through there. So, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, of course, the speeding part, I mean, I wish there was something that we could do that would just keep them from that. But then again, I don't know what the solving the problem would take. I mean, it's just,
And I'd ask you about this, the idea that we don't have that machine, that's true. And I don't know if it was in the bid specs for those to be put on the Highway 20 overlay. Do you know if they were?
I don't think they was. I'll have to go back and look. I didn't see any on there, but.
And my reason for asking that was that if it was part of that project, they're gonna have, the company that's doing the road is gonna have a machine in the area, and we could do a change order to move them over to have them do that. But I don't know if that was part of the bid specs or not on that. But some people might say, well, why are y'all talking about the cost of this? And does it matter what the cost is? I just want to be totally transparent with everybody on the council and the committee. When you're trying to come up with solutions and ideas, that there is a cost associated with it. I'm just trying to give a big picture to be transparent on what it takes to do this. But to me, cost is no objective on it, but we just need to know the whole idea of how the plan for it. So, that being said, do you all have any?
I've got a whole line of stuff. This has to be kind of down my previous profession. Number one, the only way that all these problems can be cured is enforcement. You can put up signs, you can put up whatever you want to, and if there's not an enforcement done, it won't work. Now, you cannot, just like this number one said, there's been noted no violations were observed during those times. That's a rule. You could go to my house and set it there on my front porch, and you'll see people run a stop sign. There can be a police car down the street where you can't see it. Nobody run that street sign, that stop sign. It's just kind of the way things work. There's never a department that's got enough people. There's never a department that's got enough money. So you have to spread this all out. While they're on North Elliott, South Elliott, they're running crazy. They're running the signal lights on Highway 20. So you can't cover everything. And if we do one of these projects for North Elliott, we're gonna get ready to do it all over town. One of them's sitting right here in Park Street. He's complaining about, I've seen them. I saw one last week sitting there radaring at Park Street. But while they're radaring on Park Street, they're not on North Elliott. They're not on South Elliott. And so you can't cover everything. The signs of notification is a good thing. I think that Gilbert said there was a sign down there on, is it Van?
It's right as you want Van on Park, you make that right hand.
You can't see that sign because of a tree. If we just move that sign, at least they'd know it was there.
Okay, what sign is?
It's a speed limit sign, isn't it?
It's a speed limit sign. It's on this side of the tree, but as you turn right coming off of Van, by the time you make your corner, you're past the sign, because you're worried about not hitting nobody.
So, in defense of the police department, they've done a lot better than what it was a year ago. If you remember a year or two ago, if you saw somebody stop, there's 4 policemen behind them. Well, they don't do that now. At least now, probably because they don't have the people, but they're trying to work everything they can work. While they're running a speed zone, somebody's shoplifting at Walmart. They go to Walmart, somebody has had a crash down, and it's just always, but you can't cover everything. And I don't think expenses of putting out all these bumps and stuff, I don't think that's going to accomplish it. It's going to cost a bunch of money because everybody's going to want one. Gilbert will want one if they put one on Northland. You know, but you can't put bumps all over town. and I think it's an enforcement thing. That's why I brought up this number 6 is speed trailer. We were on vacation in Wyoming, Dakota, it was all over the place. In the smaller towns up there, first noticed it, you're going down the road and you see red lights flashing. Well, the first thing you do, you throw on your brakes. It was one of these speed signs. And they move them. They don't leave them in one place all the time. And if you're coming down the road and you see a red light's flashing, somebody's speeding, and they'll slow down. So I think that'll help the police department a bunch if we get this out and move it all over town. We can put it on Elliott, we can put it where we want to. And then once in a while, a policeman who has time can sit there on the radar and write a ticket, while he's there. So people will notice that. But knee-jerk reaction, when you see a red and blue light, throw on the brakes. And I think the enforcement's only going to cover all this problem. It's not just on Mr. Valley's place, it's all over town. And like I said, you'll never be in the right spot at the right time. It just doesn't happen. Just wait, consequence works. But that's my opinion of it, is purchase this speed radar trailer that can move it around. And like I said, wherever you're at, there's something else going on somewhere else. If you got a scanner, you would know, you'd hear all this stuff. But they're out working. They're doing, I see them sitting, I saw them on park by the tennis courts the other day radar. They come down on South Elliott and radar, but you can't discover everything. While they're doing that, there's semis are running red lights on 6920. So, you can't discover everything. I think this would help us on the speed trailer to help the PD on enforcement of it. So that's all I've got.
Anything we do would come out of capital outlay, wouldn't it? Or what bank accounts would that come from? Whether we
Well, I mean, it just depends, I mean, if it's be considered for street or if it's considered police obligation. I mean, if
Right,
it's street, I mean,
I figured the speed radar trailer would come out of police.
Yeah, it wouldn't come out of the street fund at all.
But if we did the rumble strips and things like that, that would all come out of
yeah, that'd come out of,
capital outlay.
yeah.
And do we have a number as to what is?
Well, no, it wouldn't come out of capital outlay. Like with the concrete work, we got a separate account for concrete.
Right, okay, yeah, I saw that here for concrete material.
Yeah, but then like I said, with like Terry was talking about, if the contractors are coming in when they're doing, Old 20, if they had that type of machine where we could get down there and get the concrete poured, and like you said, we could just do a change order and have them come down there with that machine and just have them grind that into the concrete through there. So I mean, that would all be on street for is that.
Okay, well, and I know this is a frustration of much of the council that we're not really talking about right now, but do we have any idea how those accounts are doing as of today? Like how much we have in those accounts to spend, and if we did decide to spend any one of these, is that gonna leave anything hamstrung for the rest of the?
No, concrete is I probably got 17,000 left in concrete. Asphalt, I've got probably 10,000 in that. Some of the stuff that we could get, I mean, like if we was gonna have to do the light, I mean, I've got 2 different accounts. I've got a FEMA account. There's 2 different ones. This next year, we're gonna try to get everything rolled into one.
Yeah.
One account we've got, last I looked, was probably, like I said, 10 or 11,000 in a FEMA. And then this last one that we done, we had that, wind to come through here and the storm damage and all that. We got 53,000 out of that, which we haven't even touched. But it's not coming up on the account numbers for whatever reason. It's account 5062, but we do have 53,000 in that. So, and that's, I usually try to, well, as we get down, start talking about equipment, because that's where some of our stuff that's why I was wanting to roll that over and keep that one in account.
Yeah.
So when it comes down for some little pieces of equipment like that we can buy, we can take it out of that and not actually come out of our original budget, I guess you would say. I mean, I'm gonna say it's free money. We went out and worked and everything, but it covered our labor and then everything else extra on there. I mean, that was free money, so.
Okay, but basically, we're not restricted monetarily with any of
No,
these.
as far as our part, no. I mean, we're getting close. I mean, we're 6 months in, and I'm pretty close to where I need to be. I mean, 4 is halfway.
Right.
On everything.
Okay. Let's see.
So, out of all these items, number 1 through 6 that was mentioned, And of course, police departments is out of your purview, but we do need to do some more, lower the speed limit in that area to 25.
Well, what we have, it's 30 going down the road. I mean, even on your driving test, I mean, it's 35 on residential streets and all the way around, it's 35 unless otherwise posted. I mean, that's on your driver's test. So, but as you come around that curve, before the curve, as you're coming, headed north, there's a 30 mile an hour till you get down to the crosswalk, then it goes down to 25. Well, then you get down to the curve, there's a 25 mile an hour speed limit there, and as you go around the curve, then it goes back up to 30 once you get around. But as you're from east to west, then there's the curvature signs with a 25 mile an hour sign on that for the curve. And then eventually, like I said, he's got to dig out there to set a base for another one further on down.
So to the south of Kernett's house and probably past the apartments. Well, no, from Kernett's house to the apartments, where does the school zone start and end right in there?
Well,
Or is it in the school
it's
zone?
about right there where those apartments are. We have the crosswalk.
That's closer to the school.
That's
It's on the other side.
because it comes from there, then it goes all the way to just on be south of 4th Street, I think. I think we have a sign up that says school.
Okay, so if, at some point in the conversation, somebody said something about that there's no crosswalks there too or something. There was talk about at the council meeting about wanting to put stop signs there because the kids crossing the street. So the sidewalk, if I recall right, there's a sidewalk on the east.
East side of the
Okay.
road.
So if kids walk out of those apartments, which is on past the curve though, to go to school, and I don't know if any of the kids in your area, if there's kids that do go to school or walk to school.
Not far down, just at the.
I'm wondering if we could make that whole area from the curve to Roosevelt School a school zone.
That would be something.
Just one option
Yeah.
to tie in maybe with others. And it wouldn't necessarily affect things going around the curve going eastbound, but if you were going southbound off of there, to make that whole area a school zone, and there were speeding going on and they did get caught, that would, of course, put more into the bite on what a speeding ticket would be.
Right.
Just throwing that out as one option. But we can lower the speed limit to 25 in that area, in that curve, for one thing. But then does it pick back up to 30 going southbound towards the apartments?
30 going south, yes. And
So maybe that whole area in the school zone should be 20 or 20. I'm looking at a picture of it here.
And I would
Yeah,
think
this
that
is where the
if you
school
made
zone
the
ends.
speed limit 25, you wouldn't have to worry about a school zone, because the school zones only be a good part of the year. In the summertime, they're not having school, so
That's
that,
that.
so if you made it 25, you'd have it all the time.
That's true.
I think that's the property that got rezoned recently, and that's where it ends. So you're
Okay.
still pretty well away from the curb by that time.
And if you go eastbound from Kathleen LaValle's house, if you go eastbound from Kathleen LaValle's house, the city limits is the entire length there to Parsons Corner, is that correct?
Yeah.
So that whole square section going to Parsons Corner and then squaring off down Gaither Road is all the city limits?
No, Gaither, when you go to Clayton Road down to Gaither, then that turns into a county road until you go back to 5th Street, and then 5th Street, it comes back in.
Okay, so from Parsons Corner to Fifth Street is county, and then at
Then from 5th Street
Fifth Street to Old Highway 20, it's the city limits.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's several different options here. And I should have researched this, buddy, but I didn't. There's different kinds of speed bumps. For example, and I'm sure there's a name of it, and I'm sure you're familiar with all of them. But I know that on the residential streets in Tulsa, So there was one right in front of my house before we moved back over here. And on all the a lot of the residential streets to keep speeding down, because it's a straightaway with no stop signs. There's a hump of asphalt that maybe just have a little bit of a grade on it, that it may be the whole width of the street. And then it's, you know what I'm talking about, what's
Yeah.
that kind called, or is it, and you have to slow down for it, but it's not a big bump that'll tear your cars up. Is that an option, versus when people talk about speed bumps, some of them are real rough, like narrows, and this definitely cause a bump, but what's that one called that I'm thinking of?
If you're just talking about the one that just made out of asphalt, I mean, they have, some of them have special names, but I mean, they're all speed humps. Like some of the ones.
Yeah, they call it speed hump, not a speed bump, but.
Yeah, but we got two out there right now that's left. Those were, they was either $8,000 or $10,000 a piece. But we got, one guy that was before here, he got some type of grant or something and bought them. But they're all right, but now, see, like right now, see, they don't make that type anymore, so there's no replacement parts. We've got, when we had.
Well, this doesn't have replacement parts, this is asphalt that's put, laid and poured, not a piece together.
Okay, well, if you let me finish what I was talking about, then I'll come back to the asphalt part. But those there, that's why I don't, I mean, because they're so expensive, but again, they're like a piece of equipment. If you have something for so long, they don't make parts for them anymore. The asphalt, now we have, like in a trailer park, we've put speed humps or speed bumps in the trailer park. Well, then there was lawsuits going against the city because we put them in there. So we had to turn around and tear them out. And also, like I said, our plow routes sometimes, on those that we have to watch, that we don't tear a blade up coming around on those. Right. But then again, where are you going to put it at? Because if you put it too far east there of the curve, I mean, as soon as they go across, they're going to speed up. But I'm afraid of, if you have it closer to the curve, you can have put a speed hump sign up there. Well, if they're speeding down through there, all that's going to do is launch them off the road. I mean, I've seen them hit them before. I mean, coming through there, I mean, they try to go over it faster when they come down. It's just, I mean, though I think they're all right in certain type of areas, around, like I said, schools and things like that. But again, that's one of our plow routes that we have, that we go out with a loader. Okay. And again, like, sometimes you try to be careful going over them, but you can, I mean, if the asphalt's in there, you can tear them out. I mean, that's just, or, do damage to them, or where you're gonna have to come back, then, I don't know. I mean, as far as putting them in, I mean, that's not a problem. But again, where are you going to put them at, where to make a difference? You put it too far one side or the other, and they're going to go over it, but then they're going to speed up because they had to slow down to come back around. We put it too close to the curve, it's just a ramp for them. I'm afraid that something like that they're going to come and they'll see it, but then again, there's a study done that I looked up on and read myself, that anytime you put a new sign or new light or whatever, it's visible for about the first 30 days. Then after that, people they're so used to seeing it every day that they don't pay attention to it no more. Like on 9th Street, when that kid got hit here the other day, I mean, I guess he got knocked over or whatever. One of the things they mentioned is, well, we need to put crosswalks and lights and signs and everything. There's crosswalks up there, there's lights up there, there's signs up there. Everything that we need, all mid-block crosswalks, we have flashing lights on.
We're back to enforcement.
Yeah, but see, then again, but once they've seen it for so long, they don't pay attention to it anymore. Okay. I mean, that's...
Pryor's probably more unique in Tulsa in that we've got a stop sign everywhere you go. You can't go a block without a stop sign. So speed shouldn't be a problem if you're obeying the stop sign, if you're obeying the speed limit.
But, I mean, if we want to try the rumble strips, I mean, I don't have a problem. We can try it. We just have to... Because we can do the concrete ourselves and get that done. And just, again, where we put it at, it's going to be closer to their house. And then that person, I'm not sure who lives right there in that first house, but they're the ones that's going to get all the noise. So, again, because if you go, I mean, those are, half-inch deep, and you have them all the way across the road. You hit them with tires and stuff. I mean, even, all day long, depending on how much traffic.
Hopefully they won't be going that far over.
Yeah, but I mean, far as putting that up, I mean, I don't have a problem putting that in there. I think the delineators, you put them up, they're not gonna last very long. Especially if you try to put them down the middle, because if you look at those curvature signs down there anyway, you can look at the ends of the signs where people come through there with like horse trailers or something, and they catch the ends of them and they bend them over.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, for as that, I mean, if we want to try that, I don't have a problem doing it.
I think in all fairness, like I said at the beginning, if we put it in there, we're gonna put them all over town. So you better add up your money.
Well, and keep in mind, it's not just us that's gonna make this decision, it's gonna be a group of 8.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted us to talk about it and get feedback from Buddy, got feedback from the chief on what he says he's doing. We got feedback the other night at the council meeting from the citizenry, and I personally am in favor of listening and discussing and get input for solutions, not only from the city side, from our side, but also of the citizens that we're here to represent. They came up with some very good ideas the other night, and some of those are on this list. So we've talked about this. So I want to ask, I'm not going to be like others, I am going to ask for some input from the audience. That do you all, Chris and Kathy, please, one of you all, whichever one wants to talk first, do any of you all have any further thing you want to say? And would you please come up to the microphone?
Sure. You know, and it probably is going to sound like, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I gotta say, we have had more of a police presence. I think it slowed people down for a while. I think when Frost covered the windows of the car and it was still sitting there, it was kind of a clue that there wasn't anybody in it. And again, these are sort of the same folks. These are locals. These are people that are up and down that road all the time.
They're your neighbors too.
There are neighbors. And and this is going to sound like I'm being smart, and I'm honestly not trying to be, but I've got to say the speed picks up exponentially from the curve to the east every time the street department fixes the roads.
Well, that's a
So-
downfall of having good streets.
Yeah.
So here's a way to save money. Stop fixing the roads.
And what's
You
sad
know?
is, if you drive down that road right now, nothing against Buddy, but that road is in bad shape right now.
It's in bad shape right now, but they hit those potholes a time or two, and it slows them down. I kid you not. I've lived there 35 years now, whatever. It literally, the speed increases exponentially as soon as the potholes are filled. You might as well
Well, there you go.
put yellow strips down the middle of the
On
road.
Fridays, don't fill potholes in there. You got
That'd be a lot cheaper.
Just stop
Citizenry has
fixing the
spoken.
road, you know? And if it gets bad enough, people have to slow
Just
down.
sign a release.
And it used to be really bad, and we didn't have a problem. But then, you know, you did that major thing
Yes,
10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, and blacktopped it all and made it all nice and pretty, and that's when the problem started. So I'm truly not being a smart aleck about this. I'm just saying, stop fixing.
Wait till it's overlaid.
Yeah, stop fixing the road, and it would solve at least from the curve east.
Well, that could probably be rectified pretty easy.
And it would be.
And I'll say this, Kathy,
And think of the money it would save.
It'd be pretty cheap
when I
too.
was it yesterday, wasn't it?
Yesterday?
When I came by through there yesterday and I was going southbound once I made the curve, right past Chris's house where I think the concrete
Where it
meets,
starts.
meets
And there used to
the
be a little
asphalt.
bump there.
There's kind of a bump
There
there.
is.
It's kind of a speed bump, and I noticed it,
Yep,
and that's kind of a,
and I think
we
you,
don't like that, but that is a little speed bump right there to keep it,
yeah.
but
And,
that's,
and I think you've even fixed it. I mean, it used to be a big bump, and now it's kind of a bump. I'm just saying, the better the roads get.
so Kathy, what, out of all the stuff we've talked about then, and plus your new suggestion, what do you think?
You know, I mean, the rumble, there's no noise really, I don't think associated.
Noise wouldn't bother me
with
at all.
rumble strip.
The train is in my backyard anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You know, I,
There's a bit more noise on her end, because where we would put the strip there would be just right where that, probably where the asphalt and concrete road, it would be in there somewhere there coming up. But again, I mean, I don't think it'd be as fast or as noisy going back east, because once you get around that curve, then, you know, they'll speed up, well, then that's where that other, rumble strips would be, just a little ways down past that. I mean, you wanna give them enough room to hear it, so they'll know something's up. But I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem putting it in there and trying it to see if it works. If not, you'll see that road's gonna have to be overlaid one of these days, cause it's just an old chip road. We inherited it from the county.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done base repair and base repair in there, but it just needs to come in and be redone.
We can't put the rumble strips in, we don't have the equipment or get the equipment, but if you, like he said, if we're doing a project and that company has access to that, that would be great. But as of right now, we can't do anything.
and based on the budget, I don't think
Yeah.
this is an emergency.
But-
But I think it's something that we need to think about all over town. I mean, it is a problem for us.
But as
It's a
Bruce
problem
said,
all
is if
over
we
town.
put it in at Elliott, and we'd have to put it all over town. Why not put it all over town? Why not fix all those problems all over town and let the police do something else besides more likely what they need to be doing? But I understand, we don't have the funds. I get that. I don't have a problem with that. I get it. But I think the rumble strips are a solution. I think they were a low maintenance thing. Look at the highway. I mean, look how long have they been in the highway, you know? They've been there 30 years, you know? There's no maintenance there.
Well, they're not really driving on them supposedly, though, unless you're asleep.
Yeah, well, that's the reason they're there. But in our incident with our situation, we need them right in the middle of the road, is my opinion. And that way, when you come down there, it makes you slow down. If not, you're gonna lose control, you know? I mean, it's that simple.
Since this all started, what's been going on? This
No,
big
this has been
discussion?
going on for
I've been
5
there
years.
20
What I'm
years.
talking about lately, though, has it improved?
Oh, with the police presence? Yes. That worked for about a week, 2 weeks maybe?
A week.
A week.
But still, it's like I said in the beginning, enforcement's what's gonna do all this.
Exactly, I get that. If somebody end up getting a ticket, then that person's gonna tell their neighbor, and that neighbor's gonna tell that neighbor,
That's exactly right.
Right.
you know?
But I gotta say, like I said, there has been, and there was an actual police officer there on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. If they're not catching speeders, that's not when our big problem is at Sunday morning at 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
there's been a good police presence there,
mean-
but it's the wrong timing, you know?
Same way with me, my problem is about 4 to 6 in my house.
Right. That's
Well,
when
4 to
everybody get off
6,
work.
Ours is
it's
7 to 8,
busy,
and then again.
busy all over town,
Yeah.
so.
Yep. Yeah.
I think
It's
they're making an effort to, and I think,
They are.
my idea on this trailer, I think it'll help us a bunch. If we go to doing anything to the road out there for you all, we're gonna do it all over town.
Well, you should. I mean, we're verbal, we're
Yeah.
here. Not everybody all over
Yep.
town is here.
But
Well,
they
we are
will
here.
as soon as we do it. And if enforcement will do it, it'll save us all a problem.
There are.
And evidently it's
hotspots in
working,
this
I
town.
guess.
And I guarantee it, there's gonna be some people, they want it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some people, if you put
Oh,
that in
yeah.
their neighborhood, then they're gonna be raising
I was
Cain
going to
that,
the
oh, we
store and
want-
cross
don't want
those
that thing
strips
there.
and crack my eggs. I can hear it right
Yeah.
now.
You know, I mean, and I agree, I mean, people need to be slowed down all over town. They
Yeah.
don't stop at stop signs,
They
they don't,
You
you
know,
know. and-
That's people. You'll have it.
That's people. But you said, you know, we have a stop sign what we talked about, and I don't think you were here at the last council meeting,
No.
but you have 1.5 miles from Fifth Street to the next stop sign.
Yeah.
There's 1.5 miles for people to increase speed.
Even though you're wanting to move it, maybe say you want to put a stop sign down by that side, that crossing there. See, if it was me and I was in a hurry, as soon as I stopped that stop sign, I'd be flooring it again. And you could reach a speed of 50 to 60 miles an hour by the time you hit the curb. True.
And they do.
And they do.
And some of that I'm gonna give you an example. Whenever I was lake patrolman, there was a place called Rock Creek on Hudson. And there people had docks. And they complained about boats going too fast by the docks and rocking the docks. It got so bad that they sent a petition to the governor. Well, here me gets called to the office. What are you gonna do about this? So I got up one morning before daylight, went up the river in the dark, pulled in by a dock, tied up. As soon as it got daylight, here comes one, just like he said, flying by. I wrote him a ticket, and he's one of the ones that signed the petition. So, it does work. You have
Just
to
like
do it.
our neighbors, you know, they're just as bad. And I don't understand why they're flying around that curve. It's a curve. They could run off the road and kill themselves.
And they do, that's why you put bollards up,
Yeah.
rocks up, because
Yeah.
they've
Yeah,
landed, they've
I-
landed
yeah.
in my yard,
Until I
in his
put-
yard. It's-
Well, I sympathize with you 100% and understand. 'Cause
Well,
we've all got the same problem, it's just people. You know,
Well, I've lived there 20 years, and I can't buy a nice mailbox. If you go to my house right now, I have 2 old car rims and a mailbox, because somebody's gonna hit it eventually. It's been hit.
if
10
nothing else, a
times.
kid would go buy the baseball bat. When we was in school, it's what people done. I didn't do it, of course.
Well, my mailbox is inside of a cement mailbox.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
word.
Oh, it's interesting.
And
It's,
mine's in 6 foot in the ground on
Yeah.
a steel pole.
so, like I
Well,
said, we're
so-
up here talking about this, trying to figure it out, and I just don't think.
Well, talking about it's what we need to do.
Yeah.
This is what we need to have is a
But-
conversation
but-
back
But
and
I
forth.
agree with you that the problem is all over town. We're the
Yeah.
verbal ones, we're here. But at least it has gotten a conversation going, that this is a problem.
Doesn't hurt a
in
thing.
Pryor.
Doesn't hurt a thing.
You know, if I could, if they would let me, if they would give me the keys to that police car, I would go out there and move it myself.
And,
Okay,
and
every
that's
other
the
day.
problem. When the windows frost over,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
kinda,
Yeah.
People ask me, you know, did you guys come up with that or not? I said, no, the police, we've been complaining, you know, and, cause people would come to my shop or something or other, and they said, what's the deal with the police car? How come they're watching your house? I said, they're not watching my house. Yeah, I said, you know, they're trying to catch a speeder.
Well, I really think it's gonna improve just over the discussion of what gets in the paper.
Yeah.
And the people seeing the car and talking, it's gonna improve the
I just,
situation.
and I hate this for anybody, but I wish they would catch somebody and just find the crap out of them, and then that person is gonna complain, because that's what everybody does, complain to somebody, and then they're gonna go, hey, maybe.
They will, but like I said,
somebody in the neighborhood, it gets around quick.
it's just timing. You have to have the
It
right
is,
timing
it is.
to,
It is.
because like I said, I've seen him sit out there by my house
Oh,
and
yeah,
hid, and
Yeah.
nobody, 30 minutes will run that stop sign or nothing.
yeah.
And as soon as they leave, boom, through there they go.
Yeah.
It's just time, and it'll come around.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
So,
Okay, so,
well,
go ahead.
so after looking at all of these options, I mean, it all is gonna come down to one of two things. It's gonna be enforcement or physically stopping. Yeah, rumble strips are helpful. We had them all over Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I was there for 5.5 years, and you know how many soldiers slowed down because of rumble strips? Very few. But I'm not saying that they couldn't be effective here. And so the only thing that we need to be concerned about is, you know, let's say we spend 15 to 20 grand doing something like this, because you have the speed trailer, which would come from police, and then you've got the rumble strips or something else, and the problem still persists. So even though I think we can do one of these and it potentially help, I think not only do we need to look at, in the long term, potentially putting rumble strips in other places of town or something in other places of town, but we would also need a long-term solution. And I know you voiced your opinion, buddy, about what that long-term solution might be. Unless there is enforcement of some sort, or physically altering the road to where you have to slow down in order to make the turn, yeah, I think we're kind of throwing the dice on this here. Not saying that it couldn't work, but I think in the midst of doing this, we need to come up with a long-term solution to that too. And maybe that is altering the road, but I know a part of that is surveying the land around it, because you've got all those easements that run through from GRDA and MUB, and how the drainage is going to work, which I know has been a problem up there. And then you also have to take into account, you have another neighbor in between, Mr. Canut and Miss LaValle, is that Ortega Soto's? What is that? You have theirs, because theirs is a half moon driveway, and if you alter the road there, you're gonna alter them getting in or out of the road. And so I lean towards the, perhaps doing both a speed trailer and a speed radar trailer and the strips, the rumble strips. I lean to doing that and searching that out. But I also think we need to eventually look at tying that road off somehow. Not making it a dead end, not making it a dead end.
Well,
But
I will say though, I don't know where they come from or where they go, but there's a lot of semis that make that curve, that are going somewhere to the east. If you try to make that into a 90-degree angle, I mean, there's a lot of semis that come through there.
Well, and keep in mind, and we're not, that's not on the.
No, that's
your
not on the-
agenda to
that's not
even
on this agenda
consider
here.
That, so we've got, I see it that we have probably two options that we're looking at, just like you said, the speed radar trailer and or the cut in the road and the rumble strips that Buddy had talked about. So, it appears that, I mean, I agree with Kenneth that both of those options are the two best. Of course, I think you're leaning towards just the speed trailer only and not the rumble strips and
Let me
that.
ask you this, on the speed trailer, does it spit out a ticket and give you a ticket?
No,
Nope.
What's the purpose?
The purpose is, when you're driving down the road, you look up and see red and blue lights flashing, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah,
Put on
and
your
you
brakes.
go by there every day, 2 or 3 times a day, it's not, no big deal.
Well, different people will see it and you move it on different parts of the town.
Yeah.
yeah, and that,
Get your
It
attention.
doesn't shoot a picture of your tag or nothing?
No.
It could.
Oh,
There's
no.
but you don't wanna do that. We don't wanna get in that mess, but
Doesn't the city have a police, one of those trailers already?
we have one. I don't know if it works or not, but all it does is say your speed and speed limit. And that doesn't really impress anybody.
I know Jeremy told me one time he could put that out there, but all that does is help people calibrate their speedometers. And they just make it game now, see how fast they can make it go up.
Yeah, the only thing about this one I was talking about was the idea of seeing the red lights at a distance and thinking, oh, there's something up there.
okay, so,
Thank you, I was Zoom meeting.
okay, okay.
Thank you.
So, Buddy, you do street work all over town without going before the city council to get it approved and such, because y'all do your own at wherever sidewalks, you're doing cutouts.
Yeah.
Is this something that needs to be council approved,
Well,
or should we do that?
I mean, I would say I would like to have council approval, because then again, when we install this, and then if it works, great, if it don't work, but everybody's understanding what we're doing, putting it in. But yeah, I mean, Forrest asking what we need to do, it's just, if we have a place that needs to be repaired, we just have a list. Well, I mean, you've seen the list that we have up on the board, and I've got a list inside the office in different places, but I mean, I just think that I would, for the council, people showing up,
Okay,
say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and
yeah.
this will let everybody know about it.
okay, so, do we have a motion to recommend to the city council for what action to take on this?
Clarify again, the rumble strips, how many total would be put in? Like how many sections total?
Well, that I think we're gonna have to work it, is the road's gonna be, it's like 20-some feet wide,
Yeah.
and I figured, well, you're gonna have to put it up, you can't just put it on one side, because all the people gotta do is drive around.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it's gonna go all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, depending on the length, I figured, well, if you do a 10-foot, 20-foot, but 10-foot long, and then in that whole area, I mean, you would have, where it'd be spaced where you couldn't drive in between them.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to run over them, so there's gonna be, depending how, there's like a foot across. I think they're like a foot by foot, so I mean, it'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, probably 50 of them going through those. I mean, 51 foot by 1 foot squares, and then they have 4 or 5 in between each one of those. But it'd have to be enough where they wouldn't be able to zigzag, because then you're gonna catch people driving off on the other side, well, then if you got somebody else meeting them,
Oh, you're right.
you know.
Yeah, basically making it to where you're gonna run over them no matter
One
what
way
you
or
do.
another, you're gonna run over them.
But how big are the concrete actual spaces gonna be? And you're gonna and I assume you're gonna have two of them, one on this side, one on that
20
side.
foot by 10 foot.
Okay.
concrete in the road.
And most of the work is gonna be in the lane of that concrete and getting the machine to,
Yeah, it's just basically, I mean, because if this is something, you know, we want to go ahead and do, I mean, I'll just put it on there. As we get some decent weather, we can get out there and get it in, I guess we could probably block that whole one side off at a time, but, well, we're gonna have to pour it, you're gonna have to pour one side on each side and then come back once that sets and go to the other side. So you
Yeah.
keep, still let traffic come through.
What's the total cost you think will be on this particular?
Well, probably $1,200-1,300 per side, just for concrete, because the concrete went up to, it was 147, it went up another $8 or $12 in January.
Okay, so what's your total guess on it then?
Probably $2,600 for concrete and steel put in it, and then, but for the rumble strips,
We'll have to rent a machine to do it, we don't know what that's gonna cost.
yeah, I don't know what it's gonna cost. Just what I looked up, they said, was if you had a contractor, it's like $1.20 for each time they draw it. And, but it, again, that, I may have misread that, but according to what they said, it's a.
So a guess, project's $2,500 or more than that?
Well, I mean, if you wanna look at for the rumble strips,
I mean, the whole thing, put the rumble strips in, what's it gonna cost us for that project? That's what I'm guessing, or asking, I mean.
not sure, 35,000.
Okay.
I mean, that, I would assume that would cover the strips. That would be, half of that would be for concrete, the other half would be for somebody to clean it.
Okay, so do you wanna make a motion that we recommend that to the council?
yes, that we,
We're gonna do this in two different parts, but right now I'm talking about item number 5, or the strips, number
number 4.
4.
Yep. Four on this, not on the agenda, sorry.
You have a motion by Smith and a second by Shears, and then you discussed
Yes.
item 6.
Yeah, we're that was
Well,
item
we're
6 on
talking
the
about this,
agenda.
and I'm sorry,
So this is,
that thing you printed off, and I'll get you
Yeah.
a copy, you have a copy of that, you can use it. Okay. Do you
I will
want-
make the motion that we recommend to the council for the installation of the concrete and the rumble strips as you have described it, the 10-foot by 20-foot sections on the north and south side of that curve at Elliott and Clayton. And, yeah, to install it.
If we do that,
Do we-
the question is, how many more are you gonna put in town?
Well, I think what we can do is we can take it on, at first, take it on a case-by-case basis, because I know your area, maybe rumble strips in your area may not be the solution. But we can this is a part of making a long-term plan for our streets and maintenance, like we have talked about with buildings and other things. We can look throughout, we can make a plan and see where those might need to go in, if they even need to go in. But we can take it on a case-by-case basis from,
Bruce, right now, that's just a what if,
yeah.
maybe not.
And
Right
it's
now,
gonna be a part of our
it's-
budget constraint, it's gonna have to stay within our budget constraints, because we don't want to deplete any of those 2 accounts that you mentioned for concrete and asphalt, because there's potholes and other things that have to be done throughout the fiscal year, and even then, it's gonna take a lot of time to get that stuff rolling anyway, that will be into the next fiscal year.
With the strips, it could be paid out of our street project anyway, because we'll have money
Okay,
left over in that. So
I'll go ahead and second the motion.
okay.
So,
I mean,
we've got a motion and a second, to do that.
To recommend to council
To go with the option of the,
rumble strips.
yes,
Yes.
in the concrete.
option 4 on the list that you printed out.
And bear with me, Bruce, because something else coming up next. So, call for the vote.
Okay, here's where we got messed up.
Okay.
Okay,
we're gonna back it up
Okay.
because you just made a motion and seconded to just discuss item number 6. And the motion was made by Smith and Brashears. So that's where you would make your recommendation using Smith and Brashears on item number 6 of the agenda.
Okay.
Your item number 6 of your agenda is about regarding safety improvements.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, the confusion on the numbers. So yes, then we are on number 6, yes, regarding the safety improvement, yes.
So you want to recommend to council option number 4 of mayor's list? How do you want this to go to council?
Here's how I would word it. We're gonna make a motion in a second to recommend council action for the following safety improvement to North Elliott and Clayton Road area of the concrete road cut with rumble strips. That sound right?
Do you have an amount that you don't want to exceed?
No, because we don't really know what it's gonna cost on the rental of that machine.
All right.
Hopefully, by the time council meeting comes around, maybe we can get an estimate of that, maybe.
Well, I haven't been able to get hold of,
Okay,
the contractor who's doing it right now, because
okay.
he's still not moved in this area.
And even if they're not doing it to that road, they may still have the piece of equipment that we can get to do it, so. Okay, is that clear as mud? Okay, I'll call for the vote then.
Okay, Lamar,
Yes.
Smith,
No.
Brashears.
Yes.
Okay, also to tie in with that, I want to make a motion that we recommend, let me rephrase this. I'm in favor also, eventually, maybe not now, but maybe in the new budget, of buying the machine, the apparatus you're talking about, the speed limit thing. So do we want, I don't know how much, what's it gonna estimated cost on that?
10 to 15, depending on which model you get.
So would you be, I know you're in favor of it, and I'm in favor of it too, but what about putting that on tap for the next budget? Because it's gonna have to come out of the general fund, capital improvements or police. Next year's budget.
No, do it now if we're gonna do it. Mayor said we had money to take out to do it. If we've got the
Okay.
money to do it, let's do it.
Okay. Then I will make a motion that we also recommend council action to purchase a speed radar trailer. That,
Are we gonna have to go up for bid on that?
you'll have
Yes.
to go out for bids, yes.
Yep.
Get
So
some costs.
basically that we go out for bid on the speed radar trailer. Are there any other specifications that we want?
I gave the mayor a pamphlet that showed one of them that we could figure out how to get the specs off of them by what we want.
And we can do that more at the council meeting,
Okay.
Yeah, if it goes.
because we have a long list of stuff to talk about tonight too.
Well, the only other thing I had was, can that be like how we bid out for police vehicles, since it would come out of their accounts?
It could come out of their donations, or it could come out of capital improvement.
I meant for the bidding.
Not affect the general fund, I don't.
Right, well, I meant for like the bidding process.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's one on state contract price or not.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I
we
hadn't
can
thought
figure,
about that.
we can figure that out, I guess. at the
Yeah,
next
We got-
council
that's
meeting,
for
so.
another
Okay.
time. We want to recommend the council that they do this.
Yeah.
So,
And so is this coming off of, and it shoot off of item 6?
6 on the mayor's report, but yes, it's also, yes, it's under the umbrella of the safety improvement, yes.
Your recommendation is to go for bid to perfect.
recommend the council go out for bids on a,
Purchase a radar trailer.
yes,
Who made that motion?
I did,
I'll second that.
second by Brashears.
See, there may be a grant that, through the police department, might be able to get something, I don't.
So call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes,
Rushiers,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, now we're moving on to number 7 on the agenda, which is just an update. And Buddy, I've got this little thing here from the mayor, if you want me to read it, and you can add to it if you want, or do you want to take it? The update is that the contractor has met with ISG, the street superintendent, the mayor, and the inspector. The team has been given a potential start date of February 16th, depending on the weather, and that they expect to complete the project within 60 days, again, pending the weather, and that they are required to communicate any delays that may be due to unforeseen reasons, and that all documents are on view, available for view at the mayor's secretary's office desk. And if anybody needs to see those plans and papers, documents, they are there for public viewing, available. You got anything else to add to that?
Nope, that covers everything, that's just,
Okay, but to tie in with that then, would you check with them too, about that machine?
yeah, as soon as they move in some equipment, if I can catch somebody, I'll ask them, see if they have one.
Okay,
And again, the State Department may have something, they don't have one out here north of town, but see, they may have one somewhere else that they might be able to, working with the state, I mean.
okay, and then, update regarding, do you have anything else to add to that Highway 20 update?
No, that's,
Okay, and then, moving on to item number 8, the South Elliott Drainage Street project. As of January 27th, 2025, our engineering firm, Mr. Burke, Representative Mr. Burke, has told that the survey has been completed and the easements will need to be identified, and that they've also identified a 12-inch water main that's parallel to the site, and that, I don't know, something may have to be done with MUB on that, maybe, I don't know, but that's gonna be a little hindrance on getting started on that. And once all that has been worked out and completed with the survey, then they'll recommend council for the sealed bids, and it should be about 30 days for completion of having that surveying done. So we wouldn't expect to get it back to council till probably the 1st of March or so. Anything else to add to that?
yeah, no, this,
Do y'all have any questions on it?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, then moving on to number 9. We're not doing any kind of, action on this, it's just discussion. So we don't need to make a motion, so we can just have discussion, do we? Okay, so it's the 1st of February now, and we're coming up just a few more months to start getting ready for the new budget year for the new budget for 2025-26, and I visited with the mayor about this the other day, and we want to have Buddy talk to us about any major capital outlay purchases that he may foresee for the new year. One of them is a street sweeper. We already know that's in bad shape, and I'm sure he's gonna say, yes, that's definitely on my list, and maybe some more snow blowers, but please let us know what else you're wanting to buy big ticket items.
well, down there, again, just with over the last few years, you know, I hate getting rid of anything if it works good, because sometimes you can get rid of something that's working good and buy something new, and you get a lemon. But, like I said, with the sweeper, of course, the last time I went out and checked for a price, it's gonna be about $450,000. And I put back $200,000 this last year and rolled it over into this, so we're gonna have to roll back, again, budget for at least another $250,000, depending on what type of sweeper that we get. We have a pickup down there, it's an 01, I believe and it's, the motor, as far as the body, this is the pickup that got stole back 10, 15 years ago, I guess. I mean, but, the motor in it burns about 3/4 of oil a week, I mean, driving around. So again, it's,
Is that like a half ton, 3/4 ton?
well, it's a 1-ton flatbed, but we won't need to replace it with that. We'll probably replace it with just a small 2-wheel drive pickup. Because we have a smaller dump truck that we can use if we need to, like, do potholing or something like that, and we've got another flatbed if we need to pull another trailer, or if we need to put asphalt patch on that and use that, so
So,
that'll drop the price probably
So-
$10,000-15,000.
just like a 2-wheel drive half ton, or?
Yeah, just 2-wheel drive half ton, maybe even like a Colorado, depending, I mean, for the price. If a small one costs the same as a full size.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It would get a full size, but yeah, just be 2-wheel drive. I mean, nothing fancy or whatever it is on it, but eventually that's gonna have to, because it's, like I said, we checked Rufus, the mechanic the other day, he said, yeah, that thing's been using like 3/4 oil a week driving it. So, bucket truck, what we got down there, eventually we're gonna look at something that, because again, it's a 1998.
And it was a surplus MUB truck, right?
No, we bought this one, it was
Okay.
used, back when Jack was still here.
Okay.
We bought that, and again, that's what's happened with this one here, it's just, we had the hydraulic motor up underneath of it went out here the other day, and we actually found one, or Big Cabin Diesel found one, and for us, so we went down, but they said, once this one goes out, there is no more, because they looked all over the place. So again, this one, it's gonna have to be looked at, because that's what we use our tree trimming for, up in that. Of course, I mean, we got a skid steer down there we got back in 2008, that we've used. I mean, it runs and everything, but the hydraulic system's starting to get a little weak on it. It won't run our jackhammer. We have the newer one that will, but eventually we're gonna have to look at trading that one back in, because if you got one cruise needing one and back and forth, then, but we try to work it out, how that works, but again,
How much are you expecting, the replacement for the bucket truck to be? And do we try to buy those used or new?
well, what I'm trying to do is work with Jared across the street. If they've got one that's a decent
Right.
mechanically, good, that I don't, it wouldn't bother me to purchase something used for that, because it's
Right.
something we don't use just every day. It's just usually
For tree trimming.
yeah, that's what it's for, and, but as long as it was something a decent vehicle, that we could use. I mean, we wouldn't have to buy a brand one, because a new one's probably gonna, I don't wanna guess 70, 80,000 or more.
Okay.
I mean, it may be even more than that, because
Okay.
I was trying to think. Well, we're looking, there's a couple things I've been looking at, for our skid steers, is what it's called, a parking lot pusher is what it's called. It's not a bucket where you can haul dirt or nothing, but all it's made for is to gather up snow. Or, I mean, you can use it to spread gravel with, I guess, if you wanted to. But it's just a nail shape, and you hook it on there, and then when all you do, instead of with like skid steer bucket now, you go to scrape, everything rolls off the side. Well, this here it's a 10-foot wide, and then when you plow snow like off the parking lot or whatever it is, or even on our off-street parking downtown, everything that you plow through there, it rolls over on the sidewalk, it rolls out through here, so you're back out in traffic trying to scoop all this. Well, this here, if we had those, it would make it a little bit easier, because that way there you're not having snow rolling out into the road or back up on the sidewalk. Because that's the only way that we can do it now anyway, is just go through off-street parking and just pile it up. That's the only thing that we can do. And I think and those are around $5,000 a piece, but I mean, FEMA money, I can use it for that, but I think that would definitely help us again even with those snow blowers that helped us to clear sidewalks off.
What's that thing called?
Parking lot, skid steer parking lot pusher,
Okay.
and there's all kinds of different brands and stuff on there. If we get something, if we look at, we can look at, now I think this is an actual, it's called Bobcat, but they make off brands that we can get down to $2,000-3,000, but it just depends on how they're built. I don't want to get something that's, and I was trying to think of something else down there.
And if you can't think of it tonight, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
that- I mean,
I just wanna
that's-
get the discussion going on.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Thinking about it.
I mean, I'm just trying to get something for, like I said, for clearing off areas, because we got it done this last time fairly fast, so we was able to help. We done the police and fire parking lot out front. Now, we didn't do anything in the back, but we cleared the front one, and then over at the library, we done those, and utilities cleared this out front for us out here, so that would just help. I mean, once we got our regular plow routes done, then that would give us an opportunity if we had, well, we also done the fire lot down there off of Ninth, and so, but that would just help us to be able to clear things off a lot faster than just having a bucket on there.
And just one last thing for clarification, for the skid steer that you mentioned having hydraulic issues, is that for major maintenance and repair or for replacement? Like replacing the skid steer?
Just replacing it, yeah, there's no, cause it's a 2008, and, but yeah, I mean, you could probably go in there to do it, but again, you're spending probably
Right.
$10,000 on something that, or more, I don't know what it would cost, but something that we can use. Again, I hate getting rid of anything if it's working fine, but I mean, so.
Did you ever get the pickup in yet?
Yeah, pickup is in. We got the safety lights on it. We put them on ourselves. The flashing
Yeah,
lights, everything, it's all in.
okay.
Other than that, I mean, that's pretty close. So, well, eventually we're gonna have to, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but that old building that we have out back, that used to be the original department, it's getting bad. We looked at putting a roof on it, and it was gonna be 25 to 30,000 to put a roof on it. But then again, that's not fixing all the other bad areas that's falling in on it. I mean, what was that, back in the 40s? When that was
It's
built?
old, it's just an old concrete block building back there that's the old street department and maintenance garage.
Yeah. And it's just getting,
We're just gonna tear it down, is that what you want?
yeah, tear it down and put a metal one back up sometime or another but I mean, we're gonna have to look at that. But other than that, I mean, there may be a few other little old small things that we have, but I mean, that's our bigger ones that we need.
Okay. Thank you, buddy. Now, moving to item number 10, same thing, fiscal year 25-26 manpower needs. How many people, besides you, how many current people do you have?
Right now, we have 7, not counting me.
So 8
Yeah,
total.
8 total, because we had a guy resign here about a month ago, and so we had 9, that put us down to 8 total, so.
Okay,
So, I mean, we used to have 13, I'm not complaining, it takes us a little bit longer to get stuff done, but if I had one more person, I mean, be able to fill that spot, that guy that quit, that would help out, that would give me 2 two-man crews, that I could add, make a third person if we need be, they need to drive trucks or whatever for it. If not, if they're working, then that gives me 2 guys for my weed eating, my spraying, just everything else that comes around that we have to do. So that keeps my other 2 crews doing street repairs. And then once we get our weed eating and spraying done, then those other guys can go on a crew and work with them. So, but then, like I said, once we get a sweeper, then that'll give me a chance for somebody jumping a sweeper and run it. I mean, that's just an extra person. But if we could get back to 9 people, that would be all right.
And of course, hiring someone for streets does not bear a salary on the general fund. It
Not
comes
a-
out
No.
out of the 14
completely
account.
separate.
Yeah.
Just say like right now, we still have the money from the guy that quit that's still in our
Right.
wages, so.
and you would like just be happy with that one, or get in?
Well, I mean, if we could get one just to replace him, we've made it work for the last 5 years or
Right.
whatever it is. I mean, yeah, it takes us a little bit longer because you don't have like a 4-man crew where you can have like 2 trucks, backhoe operator and everything doing it. You just got 1 operator and 1 dump truck. So, I mean, it takes us longer to get around when we're doing dig outs and stuff like that. But, I mean, if that's not a problem, then if I could just fill that 1 spot, that would help me out. Again, in the wintertime, it gives me a person down there with the snow blower, that walking the streets, because everybody else out plowing, opening up intersections, that gives me those 2 people could be.
Well, we took on that annexation down in the district area, and you've got everything else going on, so I just wanna make sure that you've got the right manpower you need to do everything you need to do.
Yeah, 'cause right now out there,
Not only the citizens, but for safety for your
Yeah.
crews and,
well, right now in the district, it's not bad, cause we only got that 200-foot, section that goes back to the apartments or whatever you call that out there. We just go up to the gate. We don't go inside. We don't maintain anything out there. It's just the concrete entrance and exit going through that. And then for on the street, the new ones back through there, I didn't see as of right now that it's been put into the city limits yet. The new, where the, Cherokee Nation is, cause see, they got streets all built back out into there. Right now, I mean, that's not a problem. I mean, Ford's going out and plowing it, that's not a big deal, you know, but if it's just, you know, people say, well, gotta get it done, well, again, you only got a certain manpower and,
right.
that you can do that, but I mean, if people bear with it, I mean, it'll get done, it's just, it takes a little bit longer.
Okay, and then moving on to the last thing is, street, sidewalk, and drainage projects for the new fiscal year. The mayor and I talked about this the other day, and, historically, this year, we're doing the big project of the old Highway 20 overlay. But he and I had talked about, and it's all in your packet here, about doing the roads. There's lots of potholes and lots of repair around, and we know that. Everybody knows that. Buddy knows it, everybody. And we talked about how maybe for next year, instead of doing a big major project like the overlay of the old Highway 20, to get each councilman in each district, each of your wards, to come up with a list of the really bad stuff to put on a priority list, and possibly have everything put on a bid out for a contractor to come in and fix the whole town, little bits and pieces in the whole section. And if we did do that, and to be rolling with to be ready to go in the new fiscal year, once that budget's approved, we may need, the mayor suggested, or maybe it was Buddy, I don't know who, because it's not in the red, to have a list done around by May 1st or so, when the new fiscal year, from all the councilmen working with Buddy and Dale to figure out what areas are the bad parts in your areas that need fixed. That's different pothole streets everywhere, but some other things that need to be addressed is sidewalks. And there's lots of sidewalks that are issues too, and we may want to talk about including those into that also. And of course, we're not going to talk tonight about each specific one, but just keep that in mind, to be going out through your ward, getting feedback from your citizenry, and you all looking at it to see if there's sidewalks, etc., things that need to be done. And then also drainage projects. We do know that there is a major drainage problem behind Creekside Church, to where that's all flooding into Southeast Grand Court down there. And we're going to need to look at that and getting that fixed. The city engineering department and Buddy's already aware of it, but we need to also look at getting that done. As some major other drainage areas we talked about last council meeting, down in the Brentwood addition, down from that we talked about last time, back down by where Carrie Rarrett lives, and in there in that area. That's a major one that's going to need to be addressed. And then on drainage areas at Hogan, Southeast 2nd Street from basically Row to Hogan Street's a major problem. And then of course in the area again down along Elliott Street. Van Street drainage too in the Savannah Park area has got significant water standing in there. So those are some specific areas the mayor wanted, that thinks we need to put on a fast burner list. And I've seen some of that stuff in that area, and I agree with that. But then the other big thing is Cemetery Hill. I don't know if you're aware of this, but where Cemetery Hill goes through, the old Highway 20 goes through Cemetery Hill, the rock ledge on the north side, there's starting to be some deterioration of that, to rocks starting to fall down and could be a major traffic hazard. The park department / cemetery department has looked at that. And in this new year, we're gonna need to look at doing something there to have a retaining wall or something to prevent future rock slides to coming down on the highway. So those are a lot of the major projects by specific areas, and then areas all over town to re-asphalt. So anyway, Buddy, you have anything you want to add to that, or did I?
No, I mean, that's like I said, because usually, I mean, the thing we need to keep in mind, I know like Dog Pound Road, that's another one that, because a lot of these streets we've had, I put on, well, like with Clayton, I've had that on several times, but we decided not to do that because it's not as bad as some of the other ones. Dog Pound Road, we're gonna have to do something to that one there, because when all the, hopefully the railroad tracks, they got that all figured out, because there was, I guess, a track that was broken up there, they're 69 and 20, and every time the arms would go down, they would separate the tracks. Well, those tracks has electricity that runs down them, and it wasn't connecting to bring the arms back up. So when all that's done, we have to detour everybody. We have to detour them all the way down to 9th Street. So, and they have to come down that road down through there.
Yeah, it's bad.
Taylor Street to Dog Pound Road, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, something's gonna have to be done with that. You know, I have a few smaller streets and stuff, again, that I've got written down that we've just taken off from, you know, a couple of years, depending on how much we've got put back. But no, I mean, like I said, if they come up in their area and say, hey, this is the list I have, and then we can sit down and we can go over them, put them down from the worst, for best through the worst, or whatever, worst to the best. And then we can go down through and look at those and again, you know, agree upon which ones that we need to do, and depending on how much it costs, and then if we have money left over, then we get to bid it as we do, we can just add to that. So, I mean, if we have the extra money.
I might say, I drove down the creek there that they cleaned out last week, that comes from Brentwood, Ken Raines. They've got it all cleaned out. It's gonna run, that's gonna help a bunch up in Brentwood.
Good.
It's all that, it's good and clean.
So to piggyback that on drainage projects, and I'm not gonna say anymore, because we're at the end of the meeting, but at some point, the fancy equipment we watched last year to clean out the culverts, the
Yeah.
fancy blower, are you using that?
Yeah, every time we get to a pipe that won't open, that we can't open up, we just take it down there, and like I said, so far, everything's, now you got certain times that the pipe may be collapsed or something in the middle, or,
Okay.
but no, every time, we still use it. If we get a pipe that's clogged up, we've only had one pipe that we wasn't able to, or two, excuse me. One is at the west of town in front of the insurance place down there, and then the other one is there on 15th Street. But if we do that drainage there on Southeast Elliott Street, then that'll take care of that, and those pipes just needs to be replaced. So, but that'll take care of that, and then that water, it'll fix that drainage problem. But that's the only two that we have not been able to unplug anything with. But other than that, it'll open them up.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, that's.
Okay. Do you all have anything else on that?
Yep.
Okay. Any unforeseeable business?
Nope.
Seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Brashear, second by Smith to adjourn. Call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to ask your idea there on the trailer, I just remembered if they had one.
Do what now? Oh, we talked about that. I don't know that it even works.
Yes, sir.
But all it does
Clarification on
is
some
say
things?
speed through that stretch. Some of them like to speed up, see where fast it's going.
Lay it on me.
Do what? No, I think that's thinking over. I was gonna have to do. The problem with putting in these strips is spending $50,000. You couldn't ask for it.
Oh, I recall that. I recall that. But I'm gonna tell you something else. Yeah, were you one of them?
You know
Well, no, I'm gonna tell you a story on that. I'm gonna tell you a story now.
Suggested speed bumps in the
Tony
past.
Jack, we put you in jail. Lane Jones, when he was the city
Well, the
judge.
park area
Trim.
So,
should be handled.
I don't know if you remember this or may
They
not
have
know
been
it.
working, but
but
like I
Linda
said, you
McNabb,
can't stop everybody.
Junior high teacher, she had a big weekend in jail, and she, yes.
Are these turned
Well,
off?
the reason, and to
What needs to be
piggyback
said
that
for a
was
couple of days,
Virginia
somebody lied.
Lynn, Dr.
Hey, Hannah.
Lynn's wife, the art teacher at the high school.
Are these turned off?
She drew Lane Jones, and she didn't have to go to jail.